Good afternoon everybody and welcome back to Ravenport. As you can see, the harvest is underway. The fent is right where we left him at the end of the last episode, as is the Huerlimann who's waiting at the shop. Now we have a couple of things to buy with our newfound pork wealth. Now I've made a decision that we are going to make some nice economies of time and of labour costs by buying a seeder. This one right here, the Amazoni D830, the most basic one there is in the game so far. We're going to buy one of those. And to go with it, now we have options. As you can see from the description, it does mount the MKE 300, which is one of these power harrows there, right there. It costs 15,000. That goes between the seeder and the tractor. So it does make quite a long attachment on the back. It does need a front weight, certainly on the Huerlimann. We're going to explore another option, which is in, if I get this right, disc harrows. It is a mod credited below. It is an old friend, the Lemkin Vario pack front mounted cultivator. Just $5,950. And there he is bought. That leaves us with $178, which is pretty much zero. So we shall see how much money we're left with at the end of the harvest and the harvest selling, and then we will know exactly, quite easily, how profitable we are without having to do any big sums. So basically we've got no money, let's just leave it at that. We've got plenty of seed etc up at the farm, and we haven't got enough money to buy any more. So there you are, just as well I made a nice stash yesterday. So off we go. Now there is some exciting news. 4 mod maps have been released in the last day and a half or so. 3 yesterday, 1 today. I shall have a very good look through those at the weekend. They look very interesting. Thank you to the modders that made them. Thank you for Giants for finally getting them out onto the internet for us to download. I believe the PC guys feel they've had to wait for them to be made console ready or something. I don't think that's quite the case. But anyway, we shall have a look. We are approaching. I do like the big cow. We'll replace him with a big pig one day maybe. Someone will mod me in a big pig statue. And the idea here is obviously this guy now can cultivate and seed at the same time. Now if we avoid planting corn, potatoes, sugar beet, I think sugar cane, although that's not really an option for us as far as I'm concerned, we don't have to plough ever again on the fields. So we can just use this one tractor doing both these jobs at the same time, day in, day out. Now that's going to save us half the labour costs of having the independent plough in action, or independent cultivator indeed. It's cheaper than buying anything wider. We haven't got the money to sort of get bigger equipment, and it's also going to leave the fent more free time, which is good from a practical point of view of the length of the day. Now as we've seen, really to keep things ticking over, certainly up until now, we've needed to do jobs and bits and bobs around the map to get some extra income. Is the harvester waiting on us? No, he's still doing it. He looked like he was stopped up there. Where was I? There's my mental blank. While I remember. Right, let's see if I can remember how to use this. Remember this from Sosnovka. He's an old friend. Right, we'll get the cultivator lowered. We'll get the seeder lowered. We'll get the seeder turned on. No, we shan't, because I haven't even loaded it up yet. I'm getting so excited. Lift the seeder. Lift the front cultivator. Go to the shed. Right, hopefully that's my confusion for the session over with. I've literally just got in from work and I wanted to get crack on with this before I've got to go out and pick up the sun. Anyway, the fent's going to have a bit more spare time. That's what I was saying. We're going to have some more odd jobs to do. We've got pigs to move and sell. We will have some trees to cut down a little bit at a time, or maybe in a big rush if we want to really get our hands on a particular piece of equipment or an upgrade. And we've got the jobs to do, so I think it's going to compress the day in terms of how long it takes me IRL to play it through, which would be good too, to be honest with you. Right, let's just have a little look at the prices, because that's roughly where we were yesterday. Now soy is staying, yeah, 1,000 a day ish, maybe a little slightly under. Corn does go up and down. The day we didn't sell any corn, we left 12,000 in the trailer overnight, and the rest all went into the pigs because the price was so low. It was as low as 280 at one of the sell points. It's even lower there today at 245, but there's still the 460 price at the grain elevator. So I mean, that's reasonable. But if we do have a day with a spectacularly low price for the corn or the soy, we can just top up the pigs. That's kind of where I'm planning. Now we'll get this guy going now that I am fully prepared. We're going to set the crop to what we actually want it to be, which is soy right there. We'll get this guy going, and then we're going to get the fence up here with the rest of the stuff we need. Now what else do we want to do first? Let me think about this. We fertilise before we start with this guy, and we fertilise after we're done with this guy. That will be fine. I did overlook the fact that this isn't going to fertilise as we go along. So we need to get Mr. Fent with the fertiliser and the trailer to the field. But he doesn't need to take the seeder. So it also reduces the amount of stuff we've got to move. That seeder and that front cultivator are staying up there in the shed. So we've kind of moved on a stage regarding our logistical needs in terms of equipment movement and the number of tractors needed to get a field turned over. Down this end of the farm, because we're going to be planting the corn pretty much constantly, we may have the odd day off. Sunflowers look very pretty, so we might give those a go. But every day we've planted corn, for full productivity, the field then needs ploughing anyway. And in every version of the game, you've had to kind of cultivate and plant corn separately. I don't think I've ever even seen a machine. Perhaps there's been some exotic PC mod that allowed you to plant corn and cultivate at the same time, like a type of seed drill, but I have not seen one. So this chap's going to get up here. We're going to start him off as a worker fertilizing just to get the Huerlimann going. So the wage bill should come down, and these are our two biggest fields by far. Without doing any actual maths or writing down, we've probably trebled what we initially started off by adding these two fields, more than trebled the amount of field space that we're cultivating. Right, we'll dismiss that worker. Right on cue by the look of it, he hasn't even got his chute open. We'll leave the trailer with him. We'll get the fertilizing guys started, and then we'll get the Huerlimann going. There's him off into the Huerlimann. Right, cultivator down, seeder on. Off we go. I've kind of assumed that we're not going to have a power issue with our 90 horsepower Huerlimann. It does seem to be struggling, but this is right at the on the hill. Not the best of manoeuvres there. I may have misjudged this horribly, but let's see. We're committed now. So he's now going to work the field, is he? Just going to check he's okay with the field detection. Okay, the Huerlimann is most definitely having an incident. And that's actually with the cultivator raised off the ground. This has caught me out a little bit with hindsight. It's a 90 horsepower tractor. It says it needs 80 horsepower for the mower, and I think it says 40 to 60. Now, in previous versions of the game, especially when combining pieces of equipment, you could get away with a lot. Now this is going fine down the hill, obviously. In this version of the game, as I have mentioned before, you can see the incline there actually. Hills are much more of a factor. Ground effect is built in, so that is an additional factor, and it is much stricter about power requirements, or certainly if you push your luck with the power requirement, it won't just say you can't attach it, but the vehicle won't perform. Best example I can give was putting a wide header on a harvester, and it just wouldn't move, or it would at about 2 miles an hour. It didn't say you couldn't do it, it let you do it and it let you fail. Now, I think, was it just on the turn that this guy got a little bit stuck once? He's obviously managed to get up and down the field okay. He's hitting 5 miles an hour, 4 miles an hour, but he's doing 2 things at once, so it kind of evens out to them doing a thing each at about 7-8 miles an hour, if you see what I mean, as 2 separate tasks in terms of wages. And then down the hill is a definite saving. So due to this power issue, you can see the back wheel slipping there actually. Let's see if he can do the turn this time. See, he's not quite getting to the end of the field to turn the equipment off. What I may do, will this solve the problem or not? We'll know pretty much instantly. You see what I mean? It's literally that last centimetre at the edge of the field there that hasn't been done. If I just set him off like this, I'm just going to see if any of this is combined with like a field boundary issue. Now I'm really going to confuse things now. If I just get him to go up here, let's do an experiment. Off you go, Mr. Worker. Who is it? Larry. He's usually pretty cool. Are you going to make it now? Because the field boundary isn't a problem either. Come on, lift the seeder. Once he lifts the seeder, I think he's going to be fine, but he can't. Of course he's recultivated it. Okay, there's something to monitor. We can work with it. This is not an end of the world situation. May give some direction to our development plan. And what speed are we getting downhill? Oh, that's fine, you see, that's brilliant. So as long as right, we'll help him turn for now. The harvester's very happy. He's going to do nearly the rest of this field without even needing to empty again. And right, is the fence spare? Now the Fent could use that equipment over there more efficiently, but the Huerlimann's rather restricted in what he can do. So we're going to have a little recap on where we are. Pig wise first, so we're down to 60 pigs because we just sold the excess, that's fine. Food wise, we've plenty. 60 pigs consume about 3,000 corn a day. It's nearly time to top up the wheat barley, remembering oats don't count. So let's have a little look. Corn harvest. What's the next harvesting? We've got a canola harvest. We've got a sunflower harvest, potatoes harvest, a canola harvest, a sugar beet harvest, a barley harvest. It's not much money, but it's field free, so it shouldn't take too long, and we will get some barley out of it. So I'm going to do that job, and I'm going to borrow the items, and we'll just see how much we can get to top up our pigs from that. Yeah, so let's just have a little look at the equipment we've been given. The lovely John Deere T560, little bit of frame drop there, not quite sure why. The harvester, it's Team John Deere today, 6145M that I've now glitched into some, it's because we're against the trailer. And the 21,000 litre trailer. To get the stuff to the sell point. Okay, right, and field 3 is up by field 1 where we worked. Oh yes, that's fine, that shouldn't take too long at all. Did you see that? I set the recorder going, the train just missed the harvester. When I got here, it's very nice in here, very bouncy seat. Only one screen, we've seen more. Let's get away. Yeah, how's he going to turn with the railway track there? This could be an accident in the making. Or he could be doing the backing into the field and turning and backing back up, which can be quite troublesome, but I'm going to do most of this myself. That's the whole point of it. So I shall be careful of the train. I shall look both ways, as they say. What has caught me out a couple of times, though not disastrously, is that if a worker is kind of getting a bit messy or you want to take it over manually, workers can't cause crop destruction, but you can. So if you suddenly say he was doing some weird turn and backing over the crop to turn around, and you thought, oh, I can do that much quicker, and you suddenly take control, he will destroy the bit of the crop that he's sort of then marooned in to get back out under your control. But it's never a huge amount. In fact, I'm going to put him on just to see what he does when he gets to the other end of the field. This guy will bring up when we need to. Now, on the field, the fence is now doing this because I had a little think, and obviously this makes perfect sense. I was thinking of this guy scurrying off and doing some delivery missions. Look how badly he's lining up the tools though. See, we'll just put that back there. Let him go again. These workers do need a little bit of supervision. So the Huerlimann can do a bit of fertilizing. So it doesn't really matter if we're doing the harvesting missions whilst we're doing these fields, then we can quite happily leave the fence to get on and do that. We're going to dismiss him. The engine cut-off is almost instantaneous. It's almost not worth having it on in terms of you having to remember it. You have to turn it back on manually, but it switches off almost instantly. I did think before it was how far away you went, sort of if you went to another vehicle that was a long way across the map and kind of this one didn't need to be rendered, and it would kind of reset when you came back to it, but no. I was just skipping around the field and he'd already auto turned off his engine. Right, the wagon can stay there. We shall get on. Get this guy going. Whoop. A little bit messy, and we'll get back just in time to see how this guy's going to turn, as I think he's going to be aware of the train track. The train will come from that direction. He thinks he's got space to do it. Well done him. Right, but I'm taking over. This really shouldn't take too long at all. I'll flick back to the field now and again just to see what's going on. I'll be back with you when this is done and we're topping up the pigs. And another issue has been discovered. You can kind of get a clue there. This guy seems to think he can just carry on straight into this field. I was thinking of ploughing these out. I guess that's what we're going to do. Because the cultivator is so far ahead of the seeder, it can start cultivating the lower field while it's still seeding the upper field, and the worker doesn't even think about the fact he's at the field boundary there. So I feel the lease of a plough. The subsoiler that we've been used to get the plough effect in the fields, I'm pretty sure it won't actually work to plough out land. You do need a proper plough from the plough section to do that. But we'll look at that. I'll just keep an eye on this guy. This trailer is full, so we're going to make a quick dash. I've obviously left the worker doing the harvesting mission, which kind of cuts down its profitability in terms of offsetting the wage costs, but does just allow me to get these odd jobs done. I'm after that barley rather than the money. It was only ever going to be a couple of $1,000 anyway. And we're off to the central grain elevator, which is over there on the horizon. Right, we've sorted this out, and the beauty of these new contract missions is that I can just like suspend it as I have. The harvester is parked on the field. So we've now, I'm just fertilizing down here. The harvester is harvesting over here, and the fent I can now quite happily leave to be in complete denial of the field boundary. Or can I? Is he just turned around there? What's he doing now? See, just when I think I've solved the problem seems to have gone away. Why is he turning around now? That's slightly odd. Crikey, these staff can be a little bit tricky. Right, let's get this guy going here. Now, I know going up the field now, this is going to be just make me chuckle so hard if he now recognises the field boundary. Going up the field he definitely doesn't. Hello, Mr. Train. Because he's done it. If he starts to do it coming down the field, that would be rather strange. And all the Huerlimann has to do is keep on top of the fertilizing in this second field. He could go round doing the second run actually, where he's already planted, but he can always just trundle around doing that a little bit later. It really won't take him very long at all. Right, as you can see, the fence has gone from field 15 to field 16, sorry, without any hesitation, as he was doing coming the other way before. Now it would seem he might have thought about it and decided to stop at the field boundary. We'll come back and have a look. This guy's ready to empty, which means we need this guy. Looks beautiful. I like all the colours, lots of colours. Nothing like a colourful interior to make you smile whilst you're working. Right. Off we go. Open the cover, make sure there's no one hiding in there. Trying to get over a free ride to the whale. The John Deere green matches the green of the trailer perfectly, which is good. And then our pathway is through here. So I've got these new maps to look through. I'm hoping one's just going to kind of catch me. The guys that have seen my previous playthroughs in 17, there was always kind of something going on. Maybe not a full-blown role play, but there was a plot, there was a plan, there was a reason we were doing what we were doing, or why we ended up doing what we were doing. So I'm hoping that the new maps I shall find something along those lines, because the Giants maps in general, they just kind of, I don't know, they lack that little bit of soul that maybe comes from being created by an individual or a very small team who really know what they want to do. And I also realise obviously that when Giants are releasing these maps with the first version of the game, they kind of need to cater to the the demographic within the game and everybody at the same time, and they can't please everybody. So I'm hoping to find a nice characterful map. Doesn't need to be too big. Certainly save on the emissions, not having to drive this far to pick up from a field, wouldn't it? And there's so much time to go as well. You know, this Farm Sim 19 is going to be the farm simulator game for a good 18 months yet, so heaven only knows how much we might have to look at mod-wise and option-wise by then. And to be honest, there were still 17 maps that I wish I'd been able to give a little bit more time to. Baltic Sea. I started playing that with Poland, the Polish Geo for Seasons. That was quite a good little interesting one. And Seasons should be out here soon too. and that'll be good. Right, we have made it. The train, as I say, should come from ahead of us if it's coming, which it ain't. So let's get this guy emptying. Can use the sunroof to check where the nozzle of the pipe is, and then just, there we are. Right, let's get back to this field, see what mayhem is going on. Where's the fence? What are you doing now? Oh, maybe it's this combination of gear. I have had issues with staff getting quite confused using this combination of equipment before. The harvester's stuck because I left the trailer in the way. So, trying to be a little bit too clever for my own good and paying a member of staff to sit there being stuck, which is never a good idea. You go, you've just emptied. He's also emptying into the trailer quite nicely. I really can't figure out quite what the fent did there. How did he miss this stripe? Of course, then he'll get down to the bottom of the field and just come back up and recultivate what he's already seeded. So we're going to move him around manually at the end of this row. And then hopefully once we've got him calmed down we can finish this mission, but we've literally got all day to do so, so that's fine. Who knew this was going to need quite such close supervision. Right, so now worker off. Back here, worker on. So we've got a little while he goes up and down the field anyway. And we'll just help him, and before tomorrow we shall get this boundary, I think, ploughed out, just make it a non-issue. It's going to make the runs on the harvester very long, but it's obviously end result is going to be pretty much the same. Just the seal a fent over the boundary. He does it all very properly. Look, he lifts the seeder and re-lowers it. So he knows there's a field boundary here and that he doesn't need to seed it, and he can't cultivate it. But why does, when he's coming this way, he can go over it? But before I'd harvested this field, he was quite happily cutting straight through over the boundary, going this way and taking out the crop that was ready to harvest. Very, very odd. We'll keep an eye. Are you stuck again? Or are you emptying? I've got the hang of where to put the trailer for the emptying pretty much. There you go, and that's out of the way. Hopefully he can do his turn as well. Right, we're back on the old animal screen. We finished harvesting those fields. The fent is still finishing with the reseeding and the cultivating, and he has settled right down. He's doing a fantastic job. The bars we've talked about before, but just to kind of put this into perspective, starting from the top, straw, that's 5,359. We're using 60 pigs, 1,200 a day. So that's 4 days worth. Corn, we're using about 3,000 a day, so we've actually got 2 days left in there. So we don't need to put any more in the pigs. Wheat, barley, we're using again about 1,200 a day for the 60 pigs. So we've got a 4 days-ish worth there. And soybeans, canola, wheat, barley is 1,500 a day. So we've got just over 3 days worth of that left. We got about 1,000 out of that mission, but we haven't finished the mission yet. There's a reason for that. Corn, canola, sunflowers, we use 1,200 a day, and we've got 10 days worth. So I'm not actually gonna, I was gonna put this last 2,200 soy in there. But since the price is at just over 1,000, I think we may as well just sell it. So that is what we shall do. So the fence up on the field, the harvester's down here as you've seen. The planter is down here, the subsoiler is down here. So these guys can just crack on with these bottom fields. we've got some spare money already. So remember, we started off with literally like $150. Sorry, $170-ish this morning. We haven't handed in that mission. We're now up to nearly 14. And I think we will be up to $16,000 made so far today, just off of the grain. And that is not bad going at all, really. Especially as that is with the raw staffing costs. Now the pigs we are going to fill up. I'm disappointed. As I said, we've got about 4 days worth of straw. It looks like they've got about 5 minutes worth in there. So the reason I haven't handed in the mission is quite simply because I intend to... See, the engine's cut out again already. Lease something to make sure we have straw literally for days. I'm going to leave you to ponder what that might be, because we're going to be doing that in the next episode, because I think this is a perfect place to be ending this one by topping up our coffers. And this is fantastic. We have now got money to play with. Not to play with, but you know what I mean. So in we go. So there you go, we're up $16,000 just on those 2 fields. Remember, we've already sold $12,000 worth of pigs today, so, and we spent $19,000 on the seeder and the cultivator, so we're doing very well. We'll have a full review of the finances in the next episode. We shall finish today's harvest in that episode, and we shall get on with a few odd jobs that do need doing to keep on top of things. And yeah, we'll start spending a little bit of money, maybe tidying the place up and thinking about what we're going to do next. So thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you've liked it. Subscribe if you want to stay in touch. Click that notification bell if you want to be informed of when we upload a new video. I'm not going to flatten that hump. I like it. It's part of the character of the farmyard. And from Ravenport, for now, thank you for watching. Goodbye and take care.